Sirs Omicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello, Falcon. Happy podcast day.
Thank you, Sir Somicron. How is podcast day treating you thus far?
I woke up in the middle of the night with what I assume is like acid reflux or something. So like I felt like I was gonna throw up a bunch, and I was sucking on a pepper or something, you know? Just like this really gross feeling in the back of my mouth. So I promptly like washed my mouth out and tried to go back to sleep, and then basically laid around all morning watching Andor because you recommended it so highly.
Well, you felt gross and sick.
Yeah, I mean a little. I'm feeling much better now.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How about you? What have you been doing on your podcast day?
Took the kids to school this morning.
Mhm.
They were very tired because they're out late last night trick-or-treating, but got them to the bus stop on time, so can't complain, basically.
Did they get a lot of candy?
They did. They got a bunch of candy. My oldest had a big dinosaur inflatable costume, the typical one.
Yep.
And he went out and like 10 minutes later he came back and was like, I can't. It's too big, it's too bulky. The tail keeps getting caught in stuff. Like I'm bashing my head on like tree branches and things. Like I can't see. It's super dark out there. And I'm like, all right, cool. So he's like, so I'm just gonna I'm going to accompany my two younger siblings and hope people give me candy just for helping them out. So I was like, all right, well, spent like $50 on that dinosaur costume, but sure. Whatever.
You bought his costume? You didn't make him buy it himself?
Nah, for Halloween. We'll cover that.
Okay. I feel like he's of the age where he can sort that thing out himself.
I think this might be his final year. I don't think we're going to do it next year. He's
Fair.
basically as tall as I am at this point anyway, so we were skating it right now. So
how tall are you? I've never met you.
I'm 5'11" and like maybe a half.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's still growing. He might
be done.
be taller than me in one day. He might just be done. We'll see.
Okay. If not, we can get him some platform heels or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. Absolutely. I mean, we are close enough that if he wears shoes and I don't, he's got me beat. So
Okay.
yeah. So we're already to that point. Anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that was good. Let's see what else. Did some work today. Helped one of the new people in QA get access to some logging they needed access to by talking to somebody in cloud operations. It was really exciting, like scintillating stuff.
Oh yeah, that's where I go to right before I go to bed, and I need to work myself up. Is I look for access logs.
Yeah, exactly.
Really scintillating stuff.
That's the way to do it. And the cloud ops guy was like, normally I'd make you write a ticket in the system for me to do this, but I like you, so I'm just going to do it. And I was like, thanks, man. I've known him for a long time. Like I've known him, boy. I think he got hired a little bit after I did, but he like worked his way up from support all the way to cloud operations, and he's like the head honcho now. And
okay.
He's always been a cool dude. We've always gotten along. So
he sounds nice.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. I like him a lot. The guy he replaced was really high strung all the time and like super stressed out no matter what was happening. So like talking to his predecessor was always kind of a stressful experience, but this dude's pretty chill. Like I think he still has a lot going on. He's probably just as stressed. He just does a better job like not letting that bleed over into every conversation that he has with anyone else.
Right.
So but it's a good change is what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then let's see. And my kids went to their exes today, or my exes today. And of course, we try to get all their stuff all together and take it over, but every time there's something they forgot. And they're like, Dad, can you bring over my whatever?
I need my Nintendo Switch. I forgot my math textbook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 100% accurate. And every time I'm like, we try so hard. We
Oh,
try
where'd you?
so hard to go over this stuff the night before and get it all gathered up.
Mm-hmm.
But every time there's something.
And they're like, where'd you leave it? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. It might be in my room. It could be in the basement room. It might be in the car. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I might have left it under my bed. It could be in the mailbox. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Ugh.
Kids.
Kids. But I'm a nice dad, so I was like, fine.
Of course.
Fine.
So you're playing a lot of Hearthstone as well, by the looks of it.
Yes.
Every time I looked at Discord, you were playing Hearthstone. I'm like, man, that guy's really playing today.
A lot of Hearthstone today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a quest to do battle cries, like 50 cards with battle cry, and the deck that I always play is death rattles and no battle cries at all. So I was like, So I made a rogue deck with battle cry in like 4 seconds by searching what battle cry cards exist, tossing them into a deck, and just went.
And that worked?
I won a couple of games. Yeah. I was fully expecting to lose every one of the games that I played with this deck that makes no sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
I did, okay, in fairness, I did try to get a curve. I wasn't just like, oh, the 1 and 2 cost battle cries ever. Let's go,
Right, yeah.
I did try to get a good balance going, and that helped, obviously. But
right.
Yeah, I was shocked. Yeah, actually, with that deck, I managed to steal, because like one of the battle cries was like copy a card from the enemy's hand, and there's this new card that when you play it, it destroys your deck, but it makes your minions invulnerable.
Interesting.
They can't be attacked. They can't have spells cast on them. They can't be healed. Nothing. So if you have this card and you got a taunt out, then it's like, well, you better have some direct damage to the face on me, or you're just done, right?
Right. I mean, what about something like Deathwing that just destroys all the cards on the board? Does that get rid of them?
Ooh, that's a good question. I haven't seen anybody try that yet. Hold on.
And also,
that's the thing about Hearthstone is there's a million cards.
Right.
The interactions with all of them is like,
you might never see that interaction. Let's say you've got like a taunt out, so they can't hit you, but you also only have like, it's like a 3/2 or something, right? It's not a very good card. You're not gonna be able to kill them fast enough before you like you kill yourself trying to draw cards, because you still draw a card every turn, even though it destroys your deck, don't you?
Yes, correct. So you don't want to do it when your hand is empty, because it doesn't destroy your hand. So you can play the stuff in your hand. You can keep the stuff that's on your board. So generally, you don't just play it or whatever. You want to play it when you've got a decent board,
obviously.
Right? Yeah, but yeah, if you play it when you have a 3/2 out and you're getting fatigued every turn, you're probably going to lose anyway. Yeah.
I'm just wondering why anyone would take that card. It seems super risky to use, even if something like Deathwing doesn't kill them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I've died to it a couple times before. I even had one where it was a warlock who played it and then played Mal'Ganis, so the hero was also invulnerable as long as Mal'Ganis lives, and he's invulnerable. So it's just like, well, neat. It's basically that card that Paladins have where it just kills the other player, but it's more drawn out and less, like, it just takes more time.
It's more thematic. Like,
yeah.
It makes a show of it.
Right.
That's fun.
Yeah. Anywho. So it was I don't run it in my decks at all, so it was kind of fun to grab it and make it work. I was very happy with that.
Is it neutral? So it can go in anyone?
Yeah. I've seen it played with many different classes.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, finding out that Hearthstone has more bullshit ways to like kill you does not tempt me to come back and play it again.
No, good call.
Yeah.
Good call. Definitely not.
I mean, I probably would if I could get all of my cards, the like $500 I've spent on packs out of the Asian area, and add it to the NA. Maybe I would, because that would at least be, I could have all the decks that I know that I enjoyed. At the moment, all of my NA decks are like, well, you vaguely remember what was in these decks, but you don't have the cards or the dust to afford them, right? To actually build them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It'd be nice if they offered that on some level, but
it would. I mean, I don't understand why there's regions in a card game anyway.
yeah. I don't know. Legal stuff, probably.
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Who knows?
Not worried about it.
Maybe Blizzard is secretly trying to make like the EU underpowered, so all their decks give them really shitty cards. Oh, their packs. I mean, like they buy packs, but they come with crappy common cards. None of them ever get legendaries, so that's why they have to split them up. Don't know.
Oh, good stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. All right, we have to talk about Chainsaw Man.
Sure. Okay.
Did you watch the Chainsaw Man?
I did watch Chainsaw Man.
Excellent.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Like, I don't know why it's so great. Like, I'm trying to figure this out because I don't know. I can't put fingers on what makes it so awesome, like so good.
Right.
Help me out here, Somagron.
I'm in the same position as you. I'm thinking, I'm seeing a main character whose open motivation is that he wants to squeeze some titties. And that's the kind of thing I would mock the, like, 6 isekai trash animes that come out every season for having as well. Like, that's all the main characters do, is they surround themselves with chicks and then overpowered for no reason. That's essentially Denji. He's like, oh, I had a dog once and now I'm super powerful and I want to squeeze some. But it works for some reason and it's fun.
Yeah, power of boners, right? It's all relatable to every dude on Earth.
I mean, I guess, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, it shouldn't, like, it's relatable, I guess, but it shouldn't make the show inherently appealing to watch.
Fair.
Like,
yeah.
Chainsaw Man is appealing in other ways. There's enough of an interesting world going around that I think people want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. The world build is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I really don't get it at the moment either. I'm just trying to think. It's like, what we've shown is that demons like eating people. People sometimes kill demons, but, Denji, Power, and the other dude whose name I can't remember, Kai, I think it is, Aki.
I think it's Aki.
I think it's Aki. Yeah, they all have the ability to bond with demons in some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, coexistence is possible, like, but it's not. They're at war anyway, or at least the humans are hunting them, and the uppity ups are like, let's hope that the demons are our only enemy in the foreseeable future, and they're talking about like global politics with Russia and the US.
Yeah.
The last episode, yeah. So I don't know. There's like subconsciously maybe that's intriguing enough that people really get it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, entirely possible.
I'm just throwing out ideas here.
Right. As you were saying that, it made me realize that it shows 3 different types of human and demon cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
With demon, it's very much the fox is its own individual being.
Mm-hmm.
It works together due to like a contract.
Right.
With Denji, I don't know, Pachita's around there somewhere, but like he doesn't have any say in what happens, right?
Right. It's like they merged, but Denji got the better half of the deal. It's like 51% of the contract is Denji's to control, and like probably more, but you get
more. Yeah.
Right.
At no point is he like, man, my dog that lives inside my chest cavity would like me to do this. It's not a thing. He's gone, right?
Right. And Power's the opposite, where the demon has by far the most significant control of the host. In fact, the host is gone. Yeah.
Right. As far as we can tell, gone. Power runs this body. The end.
Yes. She's gonna eat that cat. I know it.
I don't think so. They've done a lot of work to be like, Howard doesn't care about anything but this cat. for reasons she doesn't even understand.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be a heck of a twist if they're like, and then she deemed Meowie was fat enough and ate Meowie. It'd be like, what? She said she would from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you surprised? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, poor Denji. It's also good. That's the other thing. It's 3 separate states of civilization. Like, Aki's like, he measures out his coffee grounds every morning, and his toothpaste is perfectly shaped every morning, and he's got a routine, and he's cleaning, and he's cooking. And then we have Denji, who's like kind of a wild guy. Like, he's not very clean. He doesn't really pay attention to other people, or he doesn't know how to not be annoying. He made a huge mess with toast and jam the first time he did it.
Mm-hmm.
What does he call that? Is it power toast?
Super toast.
Super toast. That was so good. And then they bring
losing you, Falcon.
You're losing me?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little.
Oh no!
Camera's freezing a smidge.
Internet, no. Fix.
You seem better now, but there's no real way for me to tell at the moment. I'm not dropping frames, so
yeah, fair.
It's on you.
Okay.
Anyway, so Power comes in and is just like, "Give me that toast. I'm gonna let my cat run wild, and you throw my veggies out of my food, and use all of the toilet paper, which is gross, and only occasionally bath."
Right. Don't bathe. Don't use the toilet. Don't flush when you do use the toilet. Don't eat your vegetables. Fling them across the room. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, she's a wild animal. So it's just these 3 stages of civilized, like ultra civilized, not really civilized, and uncivilized in every possible way.
Right.
So it's yeah, and I was thinking too, it's probably good for Denji to see somebody being that out of control, because then he's like, oh, I don't want to be that, and maybe he'll work harder on being a better roommate,
Yeah, I think that's Makima's plan to get Denji and Aki to cooperate a bit more, is to make them live with Power. It's like they'll have a common enemy with the way she lives.
Right. Well, and then Makima says that Power used to live at the office.
Yeah.
So Makima didn't civilize her at all? Like, she doesn't come with any skills whatsoever. I can't imagine Makima was like, yeah, sure, whatever, flush whenever you want to. You don't have to shower if you don't want to. Like,
well, I don't think she's been there very long.
Okay, that's a question.
Because the bat guy, he's not feeding Meowie, right? Like, he's got her in a cage, tells her to go bring him a human to eat.
That's true.
That can't be more than like a day or 2.
But okay, so Power goes from naked, uncivilized brute living off the land with a pet cat to joining the demon hunting corps in like a day.
A day. Well, so did Denji. Like,
that's true. We need that. They better give us that part of the story. Like, she's running around trying to like kidnap humans. And Makima's like, yo.
How about no?
Yeah.
The thing that gets me is she's like, I'm just going to throw my food everywhere. I'm going to shit in the toilet and not flush it. But but Makima introduced this person as highly logical. Like,
right.
This is Power. She's highly logical for a fiend.
No, she's not. Is it the only thing that sets her, I don't even know. Okay, I was gonna say the only thing that sets her apart from normal demons is her care for her cat. But we just met a demon who was in love with another demon. They can have emotional attachments to things.
Yep.
So no, Power's no different from Bats. Well, like, probably less logical than Batty is.
I would say more logical. Bat was like, hey, I'm missing an arm. I need to go get someone else to kill a human for me. He could have still done that with one arm, right? Like, he could have just walked down the road and literally eaten the first person he sees. Right?
Yeah, I think he's worried about getting spotted by the demon hunting corps, though.
I mean, yeah, probably. But sending another demon to go and do that's pretty stupid. It's like, okay.
It almost worked.
It almost
would have worked, except she brought him friggin' Chainsaw Man. Like, it would have worked if it had been an actual human.
Right, but I don't know. Look, I just don't think. I think the Bat Dude and the Leech Chick, like that's demon on demon stuff, right?
Yeah.
Pochita and Denji is a better analogy for like demons can love non-demons and other things and have emotional bonds because he loved a dog, she loved a cat. That's that they clearly have emotional attachments beyond each other, which I would expect demons as like a race to kind of care about each other in some capacity.
I don't think they would have to.
I don't think they have to, but it depends on like the philosophy of demon culture, I guess. Are they just
They have a shared interest in killing all humans.
right, but it's just like what kind of like beasts are these, you know? I'm just trying to understand. Do they have a culture? Like, do all demons want to kill all the humans and then have their own rule on Earth? Like, what's going on? Or are they just more like, I don't know, 40k, where they're like demons from the warp who kind of don't get along with each other and are just kind of amorphous aspects of reality in some cases, you know?
Yeah, like an alien race?
Are they like an alien race? Or are they demons?
Or are they from another parallel multiverse that came through?
Yep.
Or are they Earthborn?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out, won't we?
I hope so.
Yeah. That's true. I guess they don't have to help us with that.
No.
Yeah, also, I just feel bad for Denji. Like, all he wants to do is, like, squeeze a boob, man.
I mean, he got it at the end.
Well, yeah, but Power was like, I wasn't going to let you do it. I was lying. But then you went above and beyond. And you went the extra mile, so fine. And I was like, dude, you saved your cat. And you were like, no, fuck you. I lied. I wasn't going to let you squeeze my boob just for saving Meowie. And I'm like, what?
Well, of course
you're mean.
Of course she was lying. She intended to feed him to the bat, right? Like, obvious it's a lie.
Yes. But on the off chance he survives and saves the cat, she wasn't intending to let him do it anyway. That's what it sounds like to me. But maybe you're right. Maybe she didn't even consider that as an option.
I mean, I don't think she necessarily considered it was possible. I mean, why didn't she just fight the bat at the same time as Denji? It's like, okay, you just saw him eat your cat. Maybe instead of letting him eat you as well, just fight him at this point. Clearly, anything inside that thing's stomach is very well protected.
Yeah. Obviously, we figured that out. Yeah, I don't know. It is weird that she went into like a catatonic state when Meowie got at.
It's true.
It's a weakness for the blood demon. Also, that sound when she summons the axe and she's going to fight the bear. And the bear goes, "Rrr."
I must have missed it.
No, it's just part of when she's living off the land and she's drinking cow's blood.
Yeah, I know. I remember the scene. She cuts the head off the bear. Yeah.
She summons a blood axe.
Yeah.
And the bear is on like the other side of the stream or something and is like, "Rrr." It doesn't show her fighting it. It's just that.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is that sound is the bear sound from World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that sound 1 billion times. And it is the exact same bear sound.
Oh, that's great. I would not have noticed that. That's cool.
They're like, we don't need like a actual bear noise. Let's just get whatever's in Warcraft. It's fine.
Let's just throw in an Easter egg, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. This show is littered with references and homages to stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen people do breakdowns of like the opening intro, and it's got like Pulp Fiction and a bunch of other like classic movies that are just like done, like they're homages. They're redone with the characters that they have.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I don't remember what they are. I'm just like, oh wow, there's like 9 of them.
Right.
Yeah. So I can look.
And we're only like 4 episodes in.
Well, the intro isn't changing.
Right.
It's the intro like theme song.
Oh, only in the intro. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. So we're at onesports.gg. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. Oh, wow. There's a reference to the Divine Comedy by the Italian poet Dante in like the year 700.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That would make sense. There'd be a reference to that one.
Right. There's one to No Country for Old Men.
Nice. Oh. Oh, wow. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes? Don't Look Up. Oh, a Japanese film?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Constantine, Big Lebowski. Oh, yeah. When he's shining the bowling ball.
Yeah.
I did think back to that movie, but I didn't figure it was a legit reference to it. Yeah, tracks. Oh, that's good. Fight Club. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I guess that's part of it too. There's just a lot of attention and care put into the detail of the show, and you can tell it.
The morning where Aki wakes up and he like makes him breakfast and a coffee, goes and sits down, is really well animated. It's like there's gonna be like a 20-second slice of life anime hidden inside this shonen action adventure kind of thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's exactly that. That's the takeaway I got from that as well. It was like they did some serious work into that.
They cared.
Yeah, they care. So I was thinking this too. I was wondering this. So Denji, when he loses blood, which he does because chainsaws burst out of his body,
right?
He loses his powers. He loses his chainsaws.
Yes.
And he can only regain blood through a regular old blood transfusion in the hospital.
Or just, over time naturally.
Sure.
Right, because
it probably takes longer.
Oh, significantly. Yeah. Like, we all create blood. If I cut myself and I bleed, I'm not just, like, running on empty for the next 60 years of my life.
And I guess you might have to tourniquet up that arm. Or else you're going to be losing blood faster than you're regenerating it.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah. I'm just thinking he got his arm ripped off, but it was replaced when he started his chainsaws. No, they gave him a blood transfusion and just stuck it back on, and that was enough for it to rebond.
Like, ding. Right. And Aki's like, you are seriously like a demon. He's like, thanks. Give me an apple. Anyway, I'm just thinking it'd be real handy if he could just drink blood and fix this problem, like the demons can, right? Because if you're on the battlefield, you have access to, like, blood, probably. Like, pick up one of those intestines and, like, squeeze the blood out of it. Disgusting.
Well, here's the problem. 99% of his body is still human, so drinking blood goes into your stomach, not your veins.
Yeah. Does he have a human body?
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah. Everything is human except for the heart, which is Pachito.
And the chainsaws that bust out of 3 separate sections of him.
That's magic after he uses his magic powers. That doesn't count at that point.
Right. So he's magic. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it makes sense for the story, but I'm just saying it'd be a lot easier for him if he could ingest blood during a fight to fix this whole blood loss problem, which is going to happen every time.
If only he was paired with a demon who could control blood and, like, suck some out of someone else and put it into him.
Ooh, so he just has an IV in all the time? And there's a tube just running, and Power can just, like, put blood into it, and zoop, done, fixed. That'd really help, actually. That'd be amazing.
That might be possible.
Yeah. I would support that. Now, if it doesn't ever happen, I'm going to be like, but there's a blood demon right there.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I guess I'll be very upset.
Power could kill Denji very easily by just, like, ripping his blood out. Like, because he cuts himself, and then she can control his blood. And so she just sucks it out of all the splayed arms and stuff.
Right. Well, so that's the question. Is it bloodbending? Like an Avatar, The Last Airbender?
Yeah, I would say so. Less dancing, but yeah.
Then Power's insanely strong. She could kill any human immediately. She could kill a ton of humans immediately.
Well,
she could go on a spree.
Okay, there's an exception here. The way we see her using it is usually from wounds that are already opened. I think blood that's in someone's body she can't control yet. Like, if the person isn't actively bleeding, she can't access that blood. So
if someone was flossing that morning and they're bleeding out their gums a little bit, they're done.
Well, she can control the blood that they're bleeding, so a very tiny amount.
But it doesn't give her an in to like the blood
I mean,
vessels if there's active bleeding happening.
if
I
there's a
don't see
time,
why not.
I mean, look, if she has a little bit of blood, she can turn into a little blood knife and cut out, like, chip away these tooth or something just around the
No,
gums
but
and be like more bleeding, maybe. But I'm just saying, when we see her like jump off the roof, she like cuts the inside of her palms to make her blood hammer and kill the sea cucumber demon. She
and
doesn't
it's
just
a
like
huge blood hammer.
yes.
Like
Uh,
I
she
don't
also
think she bled enough blood to fill the volume of that blood hammer.
she has giant nails, and we see her when she's like fighting the bear or whatever. When she lays down, when she'd been killing like cows and stuff, she had giant gashes across her palm from her own nails.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying she can clearly cut herself a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're trying to quantify her power, which we don't have enough information to go on.
We don't, and the show might not be interested in doing that for us anyway. So.
No. Nope.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm still looking forward to more.
Yeah, it's good. I was thinking too. I'm like, so if Denji just gets laid, does that fix him a little bit? Like, is he less easily and utterly controlled by the prospect of sex? Or does it just get worse? Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Does he go, well, that was great. Let's do it again.
Yeah, I'll do whatever you want to do that again.
Maybe.
Because he's really pathetic right now. He's so sad.
He is incredibly sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I hope so.
Me too. I hope good things for Denji. I think he's a good dude.
I hope he gets laid, and then Pochita's like, wow, I've been here this whole time, and now you've achieved your dream. I must go back to my people, and leaves, and he dies.
The end.
That's what I think will happen.
That would be funny. The anime is like 8 episodes. Like, all right, that's it.
That's why it's so utterly hyped by the anime community and the manga readers, because they know it's a big joke. It's like, we're going to set all this stuff up, and the show's going to end in 6 episodes. You know?
And everyone's going to be so excited for the anime, and then they'll be in the same boat we were when the manga finished. Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh.
Yeah, it's good. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what else is good?
What?
Andor. Andor was pretty good.
Yay! How much did you watch?
All of it. I'm caught up.
Yes! Oh, I'm so happy. Okay.
The episodes are a little shorter than you told me, because they're like
40 minutes.
You said like 45, 50 is what I think you said. They're like 32 at most. There's a lot. There's very long credits. Each one of those episodes is 6 minutes of credits. Like, so you
I forgot that Disney Plus has epic credit links. That's right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I was like, every time when I first clicked on the episode, I was like, oh wow, 45 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna be here for a little while. And then I get to like 30 minutes. I'm like, that was over very quickly. And I'm like, oh my god, a fifth of this show is credits. What the hell?
It's because they do the credits in like every of the 16 languages they have this show translated into.
Okay.
For some reason, they have to give credits to all the different voice actors who are doing subs.
Why not? Good for them. They should be credited.
They should be, but really makes the credits impossible to watch all of it. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, thank God this isn't a Marvel product.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have to be seen to the end.
Anyway.
So you really sold it to me the wrong way. You were like,
interesting.
Great dialogue, great dialogue, great dialogue. What you should have said was heist movie.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like the first storyline, the first arc is definitely Star Wars heist movie. True.
Yeah. Which really just made me feel like Han Solo, the Solo movie. Which maybe drew some unfortunate parallels, because a lot of the rebels who do this heist kind of have an issue with someone who's like just in it for the money, right?
Yeah.
But that's also like Leia's position in the original trilogy with Han Solo. It's like, well, at least in New Hope, it's like, oh, you're just here for the paycheck. Like, you just want to get paid and leave. That's what Han wants to do. And I feel like we've covered that ground already. Like, it wasn't anything new. I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen this in Star Wars before, which was a little worrying.
True, but I mean, the Han Solo arc is, oh, you're in it for the money, and then 45 seconds later, he puts his life on the line to save Luke, not for the money, and he's redeemed. So
Right,
it's a really tiny arc.
right.
Whereas
But
Andor is like, let me take my money, and it's like, I'm gonna live on a paradise planet and stay on the beach. Awesome. Like, he doesn't turn into good-hearted Han Solo at any point.
no, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's familiar territory.
sure.
But you could also look at it as them setting up that the rebels do in fact are willing to pay mercenaries. Like they do pay Han Solo. That is a thing that happens.
Yep, they sure did. And Andor's not the only mercenary on the heist team either. That other dude is.
Which
he
dude?
was there for the money too. The one that Andor kills after it's over.
Skeen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he claimed he was there for revenge for everyone.
Right.
Well, for his brother who apparently didn't exist. And maybe he was planning on double crossing everyone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's questionable. I mean, I feel like Andor, Cassian played that wrong. He should have been like, yeah, let's go kill them and take all the money. And then when they walked in, had him lead and then shoot him in the back after he like made his demand so that people knew he wasn't lying about having to shoot him. Because he walks into like the operating room and is just like, I killed the other dude. He wanted to take all the money. Just trust me.
That was great. Yeah. And they're like,
I mean,
you're right, but he doesn't care. He wants to take his cash and he wants to go live on the beach for the rest of his life. The end. That's it.
Well, he didn't even want to go live on the beach. He wanted to go back to Farrix and pay off the people he owes.
And then go live on the beach with his mom.
Right.
Yeah. So you're right. His mom didn't go, but his plan was always to go to the beach.
I mean, I don't get why he has a lot of money. We're told that this is a lot of money. They steal like 84 million credits. He takes 200,000. And then he still can only go to a place where there's an Imperial presence, right? Like a heavy one at that as well. It's like
maybe that's the thing, is this planet didn't have a heavy Imperial presence. And then one day it did. Like, I don't know, the Empire's cracking down, right? I'm sure they're putting troops out and patrols in more places than they used to.
Yeah.
You think he chose to settle down in a place with stormtroopers wandering around all the time?
Yeah, I think he did.
All right, well, he's an idiot then.
He is an idiot, yeah.
Because you're right, the universe is a big place. There's got to be something on the Outer Rim that the Empire has no presence on at all.
Right.
Or maybe they have a garrison and you can go on the other side of the planet, right?
Exactly, yeah. Like,
yeah.
The two and a half episodes of the show is them being on a planet that's filled with like goat herders and one dam, right? And the goat herders are still out there. They just occasionally fly a TIE fighter over them, right? You know?
Yeah.
There are places where the Imperial presence is very low. Go there.
Right.
Instead, he goes to a tourist destination.
See, I prefer to believe that everything was cool and there was like no Imperial presence on this resort town, right? And then one day he wakes up and he goes out to get some snacks and all of a sudden there's stormtroopers everywhere and he's like, what the fuck? And he's trying to like act nonchalant and just trying to get through and he gets caught up in this thing and done. I prefer to believe that. I don't know if it's true. But
I think the existence of the overcrowded courtroom tells me that they've been there sentencing people forever.
Oh.
Or at least they've always had some level of presence. They're definitely not outsourcing to a private security firm, which they're not doing anymore. Like, granted, right? Like, they're not doing that anymore. But, like, I feel like Imperial law has always been kind of firm there, and I don't know.
Well, we don't know how long it is between him getting picked up and him getting sentenced and put on that.
At least a month, because when they get in there, the other prisoners talk to him, being like, "Oh, did you hear about Albania or whatever? Like a month ago, we had all these, like they doubled their sentencing reforms or something that doubled all of their sentences, and even the judge is like, wow, this would have been 6 months, now it's 6 years. Have fun,
right?
You know?
Right. So it's a month. So maybe I'm just saying it's possible. It's not guaranteed, but it's possible he gets caught up on the first day of the crackdown.
It
Spends
might.
months in a jail cell somewhere. They finally process him, but there's other people getting processed first.
Well, I mean, I don't think he gets. I don't think he spends a month in a jail cell. I think he's there for a little bit, and then on the day that they come and crack down, maybe. I can see that. I just wish they'd be more specific about how it was. Also, Cassian, if you see troopers chasing some dudes on the beach, sit down, enjoy the sun, wait for everything to be done, and then go to the shops. Right?
Yeah,
So that
I figured he'd just grab an empty chair on
Yeah.
the beach and just be like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
agreed.
Like, that was frustrating to see. He's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I love.
all of these people are running away from stormtroopers this way. I might walk in the same direction. They won't confuse me for someone who's done something bad.
Why would that happen? Yeah, exactly right. I love the fake out with the KS2O model that comes
Yeah.
up over the ridge, and you're like, oh, it's KS2. Oh, wait.
I am worried that by the end of the season, we're going to be showing like them reprogramming a K2SO because he's like in a factory with people who would have the technical know-how to do that. And I'm like, I just don't feel like we need the origin of every goddamn droid on the planet, you know, or in Star Wars. It's like,
No, we don't. But the Cassian K2SO relationship was a legit one. Like getting the K2SO origin, I think, is enough. We don't need to get anything else.
well, except this is still 5 years before Rogue One.
Yeah.
So it's like you can have that being a separate story. Like have Cassian joining up with the rebels like full time, and by the sounds of it, establishing the rebels. Because at the moment it's like, oh, we have a network and a ton of money, but we don't actually have any like bases or fleets. Like they're going around to like Saul Guerrera, who's like a dude in a cave. He's not even on Jeddah.
Right.
So I just feel like you've got more seasons. Don't do it all at once. And seeing K2SO so quickly was, I mean, I was glad it was a fake out and he got strangled, but
you know. Exactly. Yeah, it was a fake out. It was fine.
Yeah, it just made me.
Yeah. I saw a theory that his red droid back home.
Yep.
That they were going to transplant his brain into a K2SO model. So they can get a new body. But then I was like, their personalities are way too different. Like K2SO is like sarcastic and aggressive and kind of droll, and his little red robot's like this towering, like sincere, little affectionate little robot, right? I don't think it tracks.
Right. Yeah. I don't want that.
Me neither. No. Well, and his mom was all mean too, because when he comes back and he's like, all right. And Cassian's like, let's go. And then the bot's like, yeah, let's do it. And then mom's like, nope. And then they're talking about it in the morning. And B9, I'm going to call him, is like, can I say something? And she's like, no, shut it. And I'm like, be nice to B9.
Be nice to the droid.
Yeah. He deserves people to be nice to him. And he like cowers into his little...
his protective shell. B2 EMO.
B2.
B2 emo.
Nice. That's appropriate. Yeah. I hope he's probably gonna die. I'm expecting bad things to happen to him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just like it. I like so much about this show. I like that the Luthen character isn't shown as this like hero of the rebellion, and he's always brave and strong and knows what to do. Like he's just he says it when he's talking to Saw Gerrera. He's like, I'm a coward. Like I am a coward. I am terrified of what will happen if the Empire gets so strong we'll never be able to do anything about it. He's not quite sure whether he should go after Andor and kill him. He doesn't know if he should cut off communication with Ferrix. Like he's pretty indecisive in a lot of ways.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Stellan Skarsgård's good actor in this role, I feel. Like,
yes, 100%.
Good casting. I am unexpectedly enjoying the security officer who's been like...
Cyril?
Yeah.
The one who got busted down? Yeah.
He's he accidentally managed to surround himself with like a sycophant who's like, yeah, we should be doing this. We should go out there and bust some skulls. And then
Yeah.
it just turns into an absolute cluster because of course it does.
Yep.
And watching him be like basically have shell shock in his first real firefight, basically, to I have been dishonorably discharged from corporate life and is now in what looks like one of the most boring places on the planet.
It's Cube Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cube farm where he has to deal with like fuel efficiency for the ships in the Empire. Amazing.
It's the Weights and Standards Bureau or something.
Yeah.
Like the intro talk where the guy's like, now some departments might seem more exciting than others.
And Cyril's like, yes, extremely so. So, okay, real quick, just going back to Luthen. So his assistant, her name is Clea. Or Clea or something. And she looks a lot like a young Carrie Fisher. So you remember that scene where she's walking through Coruscant to go meet up with the head of the heist?
Yeah.
And she's got that like hood on and he can't quite see her face, but she looks so much like a young Carrie Fisher. I was like, this isn't supposed to be Leia, is it? And I was like, okay, no, it's just the lady from the shop.
No. But Leia would be too young at the moment.
Yeah. Right. But she just looks so much like her. It's weird casting that way.
It's a little weird casting. Yeah.
And she's the one that is like, we need to kill Andor. We have to cut off communications with Ferrix. we need to make these decisions to stay safe, and so the rebellion can continue to happen. Like, she's the backbone of their little operation.
Yeah, I feel like that's an unnecessary switch, because up until that point, it really feels like Skarsgård's in control of everything. He's very, like, I wanted Andor for this mission, so I went and got him, and you put him in the mission, or the mission's off, and, like, he's got, like, different outfits and attires and personality quirks that you see him practicing on the ship just before he gets back to, like, his antique shop. He seems like he's very much, like, in control and that this is his assistant, but she's more of an equal partner, or if not in control herself. She's like, we need to do this. We need to kill Cassian because he doesn't know what he knows. Like, we told him so much that's, like, really potentially damning. And you can see almost like already where these storylines are going, where they're going to try and kill him and he's going to, like, kill them first. But he's going to adopt that mentality or that mindset because, like, at the start of Rogue One, he immediately kills a Imperial pilot who's, like, feeding them information because what he knows, if he leaves them to the Stormtroopers, would be really bad. So I can already kind of see where the storylines are going with that.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that's the thing. They're working with Cassian with the character at the end of the story already fleshed out. So how do we get there is what the story is for Andor. Yeah, I love everything to do with the Dedra storyline too. The ISB officer lady.
Oh yeah.
It's so good what they did with her, where, like, she's not taken seriously by that other officer. She has to prove her way to getting any respect from her commander. And so you're like, yeah, go Dedra, you deserve it. You're working hard. This is great. And then right up until she gets Bix into a room and she's going to torture her. And then you're like, wait, what? Like, I was rooting for this person and inadvertently rooting for her to get to this exact point. Like, she's a bad guy. She's always been a bad guy. You tricked us into wanting her to succeed. And now look where we are. Somicron disagrees. He did not feel that way at all. He wanted her to fail spectacularly the whole time.
I mean, she's Imperial.
Somicron could not be fooled.
Look, remember, the rebels are supposed to be the good guys.
That's fair.
The things that she was asking for was information to track down, rebels.
So Omicron's like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm rooting against everyone in that entire room the whole time. Hard.
Don't get me wrong. I loved seeing like the kind of office politics where it turned out the other dude was maybe just like covering his tracks to make himself look good. Because obviously they didn't want to admit that Imperial weapon depots or whatever supply lines had been raided by supposedly rebel forces or even just like pirate forces.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, you go, girl. You got this. Like, you move up those ranks. You show them that, like, arbitrary lines on the map where you divide the borders of the sectors, the rebels aren't going to, like, only confine their activities within them. They'll, steal in one place, sell in another, and you need to be able to link those events. I feel for someone who's like, this is inefficient what we're doing. We're dividing, reports into geographical locations rather than by event, And so I felt for her there, and I get it, but she's Imperial. She wants to see everyone else die, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like, too, that she doesn't respect Cyril at all.
Cyril. Yeah.
Because when this is one of the funny things in the show where like she shows up because Cyril's been making reports in the weights and measurements department about ships named Cassian Andor and stuff, and she's like, "All right, look,"
because he's looking for Cassian, and he's like, "Well, I don't have the investigative resources I used to, but if I say he's like a cargo loader that hasn't been loading the right levels of fuel into ships, maybe they can find him like that."
Exactly. So she comes to visit him partially because he's screwing with the system, trying to get noticed, and two, because she's like, well, maybe he knows something that's not in the official report.
Right.
Which he does. The official report has a lot of inaccuracies in it, but all she cares about, does he know anything about Luthen? Can there anything that he knows that can lead her to this mysterious, they call him the Fulcrum? Axis. Right? They call him Axis. And then, which she's nice to him and stuff, but when it's clear he doesn't know anything about Axis at all, she's like, I'm out. And then there's the classic TV trope of he's like proclaims his loyalty to the Empire and why he's doing this, and his desire for justice burns brighter than the sun, and how capable he is, and then she walks back to him and she's like, if I have to talk to you again, you're fucked, buddy, and walks out. It's the best. It's the greatest thing. I was like, yes, there we go.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
He's nothing to you. Like, don't give him the time of day. Another Star Wars property would be like, and then Nidra and Cyril were best friends.
Then
they went off to catch Cassian together. Yes, they'd buddy cop it, and they'd go looking for Cassian together and find clues. But no, not this show. This show's like, nah, there's no reason for Nidra to respect him whatsoever. And I was like, excellent, let's go.
Excellent. Yep.
Yeah,
she's Imperial and she doesn't respect other people.
Right.
Yep. Once you're not of use, you're dead to her.
100%.
Yep. Like a good Imperial officer.
Indeed. Yeah, just everything. Everything's so good. Like poor Bix being like, I need to contact Luthen, and it's like, this is a horrible idea. You should probably not do this. I
want to know. So okay, she set him up as a buyer for the spaceship part that they stole. I don't really know how they got it. Not important.
Because Ferrix is a deconstruction yard for Imperial ships.
Right. Yes.
So they have access to all that stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay, they're a scrapyard. That makes sense. She was like, look, sometimes I call him, sometimes he calls back. It can take weeks to set up a meet. Right. She goes, hey, I want to set up a meet. And he's like, okay. And then he comes along. And how does he know who Cassian is at that point? Did I miss that?
He must have done some research. I don't think he got his information from Bix. I really think he dug through whatever records he could find, maybe interviewed some people. Because they knew everything about. He knew everything about Cassian.
Yeah, like he knew that Cassian was deployed as a cook, right? Which is clearly something he probably doesn't go around telling people, especially when he's like making his appeals to that person, be like, "Look, don't you look at me like that. I've served in the mud and the grime, and like there were 50 of us, and I was the only survivor. It's like, you were a cook,
Yeah.
and you ran, and like that's a good quality for someone, to stay alive. I will say.
Yeah, we need our heist people to have a decent sense of self-preservation. Good call. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, anyway, I just like that Bix trying to contact Luthen had consequences. Like, it got her busted. It got the dudes in the shop busted. Like, that's why they picked him up, and that's why they picked up Bix too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, consequences are good. And the whole Cassian in prison thing, like, that's just so well constructed. Everything in it makes sense. All the little details. I don't know. I just really enjoy the setup in there. And I guess, like, one of the questions is, do you think the things they're making have actual use for the Empire, or are they just using this to keep the people busy for 12 hours a day and make them so tired they can't even think about escaping?
No, it's got to have use. I don't know what they could be making. I've literally no idea. They could just be toilet seats, for all I know, space toilet seats.
Right.
They could be structural mounts for the sanatorium room. They could be parts for the Death Star. Don't know, but they definitely have use. I was a little annoyed at hearing one of the Imperial officers being like, "Yeah, we're seeing increased shipment manufacturers to Scarif," and I'm like, "Haha, I get that reference. They're building the Death Star." But
you said Scarif, yeah.
Scarif isn't where they built the Death Star. That's just where they held the plans.
True.
Like, it was just an archive, like a blueprint archive and repository of artifacts and shit. So it was a little wonky, but it's like, okay, we're supposed to recognize that, but that's not what that is.
Yeah.
Either that or they were just referencing Scarif, but I don't understand why it significantly increased, like, construction labor or resources being diverted to Scarif. I don't know. Maybe the building. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, if it wasn't this period of the Empire where they're ramping up and they're building millions of TIE fighters and AT-ATs and AT-STs, and they're building a friggin' Death Star, and they need 13,000 more Star Destroyers. Like, if it wasn't for that, then part of me would be pretty convinced it's just a total waste of time.
Really?
But just because all the pieces come up prefabricated, and, like, you have the robots to prefabricate these pieces, but you can't use a robot to put them together in 10 seconds.
You could definitely assemble them yourself, but you've got the labor. Why not use it?
Well, because it's inherently less reliable than robot labor.
I don't know.
I mean, it could be both. It could be it's real nice that it keeps them busy for 12 hours a day, and the parts they're making are useful for us, so everybody wins.
So my headcanon on this is, you know how when they were flying in on the shuttle and they dropped them off, and it's in this big, like, it reminds me of the prison in, like, Marvel, where it's all in the water.
Yeah, the raft.
The raft, that's it. It reminds me of that, but I imagine they take all of these things that everyone in this prison is building and ship it to, like, the next one over, and all of the prisoners there deconstruct it, and then they send all the parts back.
That would be amazing. That'd be super, super fun. Yeah.
It's possible. I don't think it's likely, but
no, definitely not. I don't know. And there's so much about this show too. Like, Cassian doesn't say much. From the time that he shows up at the prison until the end of the episode, he's pretty quiet.
Right.
Like, he gets asked if he knows anything about the heist, and you can watch him. His face goes from, like, oh, everybody knows about that, to I probably shouldn't say anything about that, because if people think I'm involved, I'm in trouble, right?
Right.
So he just goes really quickly from, you guys know about that, I'm going to shut up about it, to saying, I don't know anything about that.
I mean, he didn't say a whole lot before that either. Like,
no.
Very smart, just shut up and do your time kind of mentality.
Yeah, but he's smart. Like, we know he's smart, and he's observing, and he's watching everything that's happening, And when they're processing him, and that one guard is late,
Mhm.
right? Andor's he's got his head looking around, he's looking at everything. The guard yells at him for not keeping his head forward, but he is trying to absorb as much information as he can
Mhm.
on the off chance that it'll be useful in helping him escape at some point.
Right.
So anyway, just a really good performance from Diego Luna, I thought there. I mean, if you don't have many lines, figuring out other ways to communicate with the audience is pretty important.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this show could only be improved if they stuck him in a helmet for the entire show.
The Pedro Pascal method, yeah.
No, I would like to say, while I was thinking about that prison, is it amuses me that there's part of their processing, like screening process, to determine whether or not someone's suitable for labor, is that these people can't have prosthetic legs at all because their
Right.
enforcement method here only works if you can have both feet on the ground. you know?
Unless the legs like they conduct whatever electricity they're shooting through the floor, right?
I don't know, maybe, but
But
I
yeah,
don't know.
generally no.
Yeah.
Right. So no one there has any artificial legs. True fact.
Yep. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, you get a lighter sentence or you go to a different prison because you're missing a foot.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Right.
you also have to be human. This is a specifically human or humanoid, at least. I didn't see anyone who wasn't human.
That's true.
Prison.
It's a good point.
And it is clean, and you are largely left to yourself, and you have unlimited food. Isn't the Empire maybe being like giving humans some preferential treatment here?
Well, I mean, like they said, starving prisoners aren't very excellent workers.
Right.
Like it slows down their efficiency if they can't stand up for 12 hours a day. You know.
Right, but I mean,
maybe.
we've seen like Rogue One, Jyn Erso was like at a mining colony in a prison, and it was like you lick the water that's flowing off the wall in your prison cell, and then you go and do like mining for 12 hours.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
good point. Why are they treating them so much better here than on average?
Right.
I don't know. Also, okay, they have a holo of Cassian's face, right? They show it in one of the ISP meetings.
Right, from when it was like 15 or something.
They can't transmit that through the Empire and be like, hey, every one of our prison planets, if this guy comes through, let us know. They can't.
They don't have facial recognition software. This is
Just
1984.
Put the face in an email, and in your morning briefing at the prison, this guy, if he comes through, call us. That's it.
There's a lot of prisons on a lot of planets. I don't
I
think
know. They can travel faster than light, Omicron.
Like, universe is a big place. Like, if you're, you would need to have an entire job just for someone to answer the emails of like, keep an eye out for this guy. Posters, you know.
Sure. Why not?
That'd be too much work.
And look, I'm okay with it taking a while. Cassian's there for a long time. I don't need him to get flagged immediately, but if just one day they finally get around to sending his face to this prison, one of the guards is like, oh yeah, that guy. Cool. And then he's done, right? That's all. They're like, we needed him to go to a prison. We also needed nobody higher up than these prison guards to like know who he is or see his face in any way.
Right.
That's all. And then finally, that old dude on the team who like can't do the job anymore. Like, I'm wondering if the team members have to kill him.
Oh.
Because if he slows them down enough that they're last place, that's a pretty solid motivation to like casually knock his head against the corner of the table and get a replacement, right?
Well, maybe. But murdering someone at the table means you're not working at the table. Not working at the table means you don't get food. Or you don't get flavor because you don't win, and you get zapped because you don't win.
But you're going to get zapped because you don't win because this guy can't carry his weight.
Right, but he is carrying some weight, and there's no guarantee that you get a replacement. Like, you're basically waiting on another inmate, someone to commit a crime or be falsely committed a crime, right?
Which sounds like it's happening a lot.
I mean, yeah, probably. But you also got to make sure they don't have prosthetics.
True, and they have to be human.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I feel like they're not clear about like, oh, you just get stuck not having a person for a while if someone dies. I don't know. It's guaranteed that you just get someone to replace them on a team. fairness in this competition doesn't seem like their highest priority.
No, definitely. But I'm just saying, if he can't keep his weight and you're last place every week anyway, like bash his head on the corner of a table real quick and hope you get a replacement. That's your
Well,
best bet, right?
well, okay. So Golem came over and was like, "What are you taking a break?" When the guy's part didn't fit, right?
Yeah.
But he was like, "You shouldn't." He's like, "You shouldn't be slowing down. You're close to the top, right?" That's what they
Right.
said. So even with him, they were closer to the top. That they're not necessarily going to get shocked anyway. They might not win, but they won't get shocked.
Well, it seems like this was the first time the dude was unable to do his part because they seemed surprised by this. They didn't just jump into action to help him. They were like, "What's going on over there?" And
Right,
then he
but
needed help, and they were like, "Oh, if it gets worse, they're not going to be near the top anymore."
well, what if it was just a bad part? Like you said, they don't produce it themselves. They come up from some other like 3D printing process or
Yeah,
something.
no, if I'm just saying, on a TV show, it'd be very weird if they spent that much time on a one-time mess up by the old guy.
Mm,
They're
I don't
showing
know.
a deterioration of skills with him. If he
I
doesn't
don't
come up at all in this next week's episode, I'll give you $1. They're telegraphing something's going to happen with that dude.
I don't know. I'm seeing a little like Shawshank Redemption where he's like the old guy who's gonna get out but not know what to do with himself. You know?
He's part of the escape.
Yeah. No.
But he's
He's
been
not
there
part of.
for.
He's not part of the escape. Like he serves his
Oh, he
time.
gets released.
He's so close. He's only got like a week left of before he retires from prison life. He gets out and he's been in there for like 60 years and he's just like institutionalized and wants to go back, and then he comes back and he can't do the work. Then they kill him. That's what'll happen.
I could see that. Yeah. That was funny too because like it doubled our sentences. So almost like so the guy who had 2 days left was like, whatever.
Yeah. And
Right?
yeah, Gollum over there, so he's only got 249 days or something left. So he would have been down to like 4 months, and now he's like, God damn it.
He is. But it's better than someone that had 6 years and now it's 12.
Right.
Yeah. Just doubling it seems like a really weird way.
It's almost like they didn't want to lose their workforce. Like they were like, what can we do to
No, yeah, but if
skip?
they wanted that, just add 10 years to everyone's sentence. Why double everything? That doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
That's all I'm saying.
Neither does adding 10 years. It's all an arbitrary line, right? Doubling everything at least gives it the appearance that everything is still within boundaries of, like if you steal something, you given instead of 6 months, you're given 12. If you murder someone, instead of giving 10, you give them 20, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you steal something and now you've in here for 10 years, 6 months. That's weirder. It's not meant to make sense, but also the processing of Cassian was like, oh, this would have been 6 months. Now it's 6 years. So
Which
that means
is way more than doubling.
Right. So
Yeah.
the people on who maybe that was them part of like Mom Mothra's like overreaching attempts to like scale back the overreaching. It's like, well, what about instead of like already incarcerated people, instead of like timesing everything by 5 or whatever the difference from 6 months to 6 years is, what if we just doubled it, right? Like, because that's a reduced sentence. Well, it's an increase, but it's not as massive as just like 12x. Thank you, Aki. Quick
Quick
You know.
maths. Yeah.
Look, never do maths on stream, Aki. It's a rule.
Anyway, yeah. It's just interesting how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think I'd go insane if the food I was eating for months had no taste. I think you just lose your mind. Like I do. It's not as bad as solitary confinement. Like that will drive a person crazy.
Well, no, because you can get flavored food if you win.
Yeah. But like, what if another team's just better? What are you gonna do about that?
You make the jump during the night from cell to cell, not stepping on the floor. Right? And then you throw some of them out. Right? Or you bash one of them against the head of the corner of the table. Right? Like, I feel like in the spirit of competition, Gollum over there knows that each team needs to win like once or twice Because if one team is just out competing, then they don't really need to try as hard, and you want everyone trying as hard. Because if your team has no chance to win, why bother trying? You can just stand there and not work, which makes Golem, he loses because he's forcing every room against every other room, not just table to table. So he needs everyone at all the tables to be incentivized to win. If they don't feel like they ever have a chance to win because they never win,
then they stop trying. It's true. You're right. That's human psychology right there.
Yep.
Yeah. So what if you just, here's the thing. You don't really have a lot of time to stare around at the other tables and see how fast they're working, right?
Well,
so the result could just be whatever the Empire wants them to be.
Isn't the guy at the table, one of the guys at the tables is like looking at a computer monitor, and every now and then they read off like, oh, table 4 is at like 18 or whatever.
Yeah, I know. But what if they just make that up? What if those numbers are entirely generated to keep everybody trying their hardest, like you said, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like someone at your table would be able to see the rack that everyone's loading onto. Because they're all loading all of their like star component, whatever, onto the same trailer, and it's like, oh, this says 18. Obviously, they would keep it comparative to like whatever it is the table is actually done, because it's like if we've done 2 and they've done 39, obviously that would look a bit sus. It's like, how did they have so much? So you keep it within 1 or 2. But I feel like, people would be able to tell. I feel, because person on one side of the table can definitely see the other tables, and even if you are working, you can still see other things. Like,
yeah,
I feel like them just being like, oh, it's all made up is a little hard when you can see what other people are doing.
Yeah, but okay. So what do you do to make sure there's not just one unstoppable team in the first place all the time?
You just rotate crews. Be like, okay, you're on table 6 now. Like, you just split up team members, rotate them around.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if they do that.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know. It may have been we're asking this question, and the writers of show have not asked this question.
Right. That's very possible.
Entirely.
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to see what happens next.
Mm-hmm. Me too. How many episodes is this?
Forget what they said.
10 by the looks of it.
Okay, that's nice.
So
12.
2 episodes. Oh, 12?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. 12 episodes, and then a second 12 episode season is in development now. Which concludes the series and just basically leads directly into the events of Rogue One.
Fair enough.
So they've got it planned out. I love that. I love a story that has an ending at the beginning. Big fan. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Andor's great. We didn't even talk about the Mon Mothma stuff, which I think is really good.
I think that's wonky.
Wonky. What does that mean?
I just don't see where it's supposed to be going, because like we know her ever since like, well, in the original trilogy, Mon Mothma was just someone who's like at the rebel base, who's like a general or a leader or important dignitary. Yeah. And at Revenge of the Sith, we know that she has like a little meeting with Leia Organa's dad, like because he was a senator. And it's
Bail,
like, yeah. How do you feel about setting up an organization? And it's like, wink, nudge. It's like the rebels are growing from within. But at the moment, all we see is that she's trying to move money around. We don't know to who. It feels like Stellan Skarsgård's been the one setting up like a network of rebels. Like, she's just moving money, and he just got a bunch of money, right? Like, he just got way more than she's ever been talking about. Like, she was talking to the banker, Frank. She's like, yeah, maybe you could help me out, old banker from high school. I need to move 400,000 credits. Oh, we just pulled a heist with like 86 million.
Right.
So, she also can't trust her husband. Her kid doesn't seem to like it for some reason. Like, all of this is just seeming a little superfluous at the moment. Like, maybe it'll tie in somehow great, but at the moment, Okay.
Yeah.
Where's
No,
this
that's
going?
fair. Right. She's just basically having parties and doesn't seem
Yeah.
to be super connected with the rest of what's happening.
No. Yeah. I mean, she's definitely like built it. Like she talks about it herself that she's like playing the role of like, oh, someone who's just there to try and make the Empire more moderate. Like the Palpatine's doing some like overreaching stuff. We need to like scale him back. You know, levy the legislative body against the executive body. You know.
Right.
And she's like mostly focused on humanitarian works and like building that as a cover for someone who is going to make the like form the alliance, the Rebel Alliance or whatever. That's fine. I get it. But that's kind of all there is to it.
Right.
Like, I get it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't need to see a whole lot more of it.
Fair. I mean, I guess most of what's interesting is the Senate hasn't been dissolved yet, and we know that's going to happen.
Right.
So we could see that. There is a theory. Oh, no, go ahead.
That happens in the events of New Hope. So that's 5 years away and then some.
The Senate gets dissolved after. No, really?
Yeah, because Grand Moff Tarkin walks in on the Death Star to like have a board meeting. They're like, the Emperor has just decided to dissolve the Senate, and I was like, how will the local governors keep the peace? And like, through fear.
Okay, that's right. So the year of the Battle of Yavin.
Yep.
Huh. Fair enough. So that is it's a while out for sure.
It's a ways away.
Yeah. Okay. But also, it seems fairly obvious that the husband's probably going to figure out what she's up to on some level, and whether he rats her out, I think, is interesting.
Right.
And then someone also had the theory that her daughter has rebel sympathies, and that she sees her mom as this like part of the machine, right?
Who's like, she's playing her cover too well that her daughter's like, oh, she's just someone who's like trying to make the machine run, but doesn't care where it's pointed, you know? Like, that's fair.
She doesn't have a moral base, and Mon Mothma can't tell her daughter anything what she's doing because it's too dangerous.
Right.
Because I was with you. I'm like, why is she always weird with her mom? And then I heard that on a podcast, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. The rebellious teenagers, like, yeah, the rebellion's awesome. My mom sucks. My mom and dad are terrible. And yeah.
Doesn't
so anyway, I don't know.
Her show up somewhere else in something else?
Wasn't what?
Doesn't her
Mon Mothma's daughter?
Yeah, doesn't she show up somewhere else in a different
like another property?
Yeah, because oh no. I'm thinking of like when they had showed Mon Mothma in like Rogue One, they had the actress's daughter reprise the role to be like a body double, so they could do like some CG on it. Be like,
yeah.
Look, from afar, it's the same person.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, I'm pretty sure her name's Lita, the daughter, by the way. I think
is.
she's a construction of Andor. I don't think she existed before the show.
Well, she has a Legends tab.
Oh, really? Is she in Legends?
Yeah, in the Star Wars fandom wiki.
Huh.
Yeah. She was first mentioned in Dark Empire sourcebook, which came out in 1993. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. She's been around.
Yep. But I don't necessarily know that she does a whole lot, but
no.
You know, it's just I'm trying to.
Yeah, like it shows that she's referenced. Yeah. In some source book in 1993, and then the role-playing game she's mentioned in the or in another reference book in 2002. So yeah, I don't think she's done anything before now. So that's kind of fun. Where she goes could be interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. Like an Andor a lot.
I'm enjoying it.
Wonderful. All right, cool. Well, we're 20 minutes over. We probably should wrap this up.
We could do that, yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that is going to be it from us today. This has been Falcon, Paladin, and Somicron talking about Andor and Chainsaw Man mostly. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. If you want to support the pod directly, you can at patreon.com/Somicron. Also, merch purchases from falconpaladin.store will help support the podcast as well. There are a couple new hoodies out there and a new t-shirt design.
There actually is 2 new t-shirts. One of them's hidden. You gotta look for it.
Hidden Halloween hunt for a t-shirt. Nice. So falconpaladin.store. Go find it.
It's not very hard to find.
Well, find it anyway. All right, cool. So yeah, like I said, going to be it from us. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. We do stream this live on twitch.tv/Somicron every week. And the VODs are available on YouTube too if you just search the Falcon Paladin Hour. So thanks again, everybody. Until next time, you take care of yourselves.